Hello everyone, welcome to this new video. So in this video we are going to see what is private IP, public IP and elastic IP. Okay, so let's begin with our discussion. Okay, what is public IP? Okay, before we dive deep into this, let me just understand this full topic with full environment. Okay, case study. Okay, so let us suppose you are having an EC2 instance. Okay, and you have deployed a software within that EC2 instance. Okay, you have an EC2 instance and you have deployed a software. Okay, now what you want, this is in your local. Okay, you want this EC2 instance to be visible or to be accessible to various kind of people. So for that, what you do, you deployed it in server, and how to access that server link? There is a IP which is connected with your server. Okay, so that IP, you can say that 192.168.1.16. Let us suppose you have given the IP address as this in order to access this EC2 instance. Okay, so you can say that this is a way to assign the IP to this EC2 instance. Okay, now if you want to access it, okay, so this IP is known as public IP. Okay, public IP address, because it is accessible in whole you can say that internet, or the full unique in the globally unique, you can say. Okay, and you might say that should we really want to give the IP address? Okay, but in order to access a software or a website, we are giving like the name, like in order to access we need to give amazon.com. Okay, so I'll tell you, let us suppose you are having an abc.com. Okay, you have defined a name and you have buy a name abc.com. Now what you need to do, you need to link this domain name with this IP address. So whenever a person type in Google or on your web browser abc.com, it is redirected to this IP address. Got it? So I hope you get an idea what is the mapping. This is known as domain mapping, DNS. Okay. Now, second case, we'll see. So let us suppose you are having lot of people, like there are 100 people. Okay, and you want and you want these people to access your software. Okay, but let us suppose your EC2 instance is having a capacity to hold 10 people. In that, what you can do, you deploy lot of EC2 instance. Okay, so that it can be distributed, the load should be distributed across the EC2 instance, so that each person should be accessible with these the service that he wants, the software that he wants to access. Okay, so now what you do, it is very difficult to have IP addresses. Okay, like this is a IP address, public IP address. Okay, it is having, let us suppose it is having dot 16, it is dot 17, it is dot 18. What is dot 17.18? The IP address like 192.168.1.16.17.18. Okay, this range I have assigned. So in abc.com, that IP address should be linked with each and everyone. Like in the table, you need to map this also, okay, and this also. And in order to handle 100 people, you have to deploy 10. And in that DNS, what you need to do, you need to write all the 10 IPs. Okay, so it is not a good, you can say that good practice. So what we do, we can assign this to a network. Okay, we can assign a network to this, and we gave a unique IP. Okay, we can give a unique IP. Let us suppose for this network there is a IP dot 19. Okay, and we connect these EC2 instances in a private network. This is a network which is local. Okay, this is a private network because it is having a scope. Okay, and then we assign this IP address. In the similar fashion, you can deploy various kind of networks. So this local network, you can say that it is known as private IP. So now the this dot 18 dot 17 dot 16 is our private IP. We need to configure it. Okay, automatically EC2 instance, it has given me a unique IP, but we can connect to a network, or you can say that a subnetwork that I showed you while deploying it. Okay, so these EC2 instances should be connected in a local area network, and that network is associated with a public IP. And now you can say you do not have to write this, you just need to type 192.19. You can give this way. So this is your network 1 and this is your network 2, in which you are having EC2 instances. Okay, I hope it is clear. Okay, and that also you can give, and in this configuration, in that way you can deploy various kind of EC2 instances in various kind of networks in regions in availability zones. That also you can do it. Okay, I hope it is more clear now. Okay, now let's see our presentation. So, as per our presentation, the public IP can be identified on internet, unique across the web, and you can find a geographical location easily. So, for a public IP, these are the three important points that you need to remember. For private, can be identified on private network only. Okay, unique across the private network. As I told you, it should be unique, and two different private networks can have the same IP. Okay, what it means, let us suppose, okay, let us suppose this local IP is 16, and that local EC2 instance IP is also 16, and here it is also 17, and here it is also 18. So you did the configuration just like this, but the public IP is different. It is dot 21. So what you do, it is dot 21, but the locally it can be same. I hope you get an idea. Okay, so this is your private IP. Now let's see what is elastic IP. Okay, when you start and stop an EC2 instance, its IP address changes. If you need to have a fixed IP for your instance, you need to have an elastic IP. Okay, so what is an elastic IP? Okay, so another thing I want to show you. Okay, whenever you deploy an EC2 instance, okay, let us suppose this is my EC2 instance, and you start it first, and then what you do after some time, you need to stop it. So the public IP that has been assigned by AWS, okay, the public IP, it is of it is, you can say that, changes. Okay, it is changing whenever you start and stop, because in a pool of IP, you can say that pool of IPs, AWS having a pool, it is having lot of IPs like 5.1.10.1 119.2.1. Okay, this is an IP. It is having 192.1.10.5. Okay, this is also an IP. So in the pool of IP, it is whenever you start it, it is taking that IP address and assign it whenever you start, and when you stop it, it is deallocated that IP and get that IP into the pool, so that that IP can be utilized by others. Okay, so again when you start, now it will assign a different IP. Okay, now it will assign different IP. I'll show you in the lab. Okay, so this is how it works. Okay, but as per my rule, I don't want this. I want whenever I start or stop my EC2 instance, I want that IP only. What I can do? So there is a concept known as elastic IP come into place. Elastic IP come into place. What elastic IP says? Okay, you can have an IP address, let us suppose 5.10.1.10. Okay, this is my IP address. Okay, now whenever I start EC2 instance, okay, I should be assigned an IP. Whenever I stop, okay, this IP is working, but it is allocated to you. Okay, whenever you start again, this IP is allocated. So you are having a fixed IP. I hope you get an idea. So this is a concept for how elastic IP works. And maximum to maximum 5 IP elastic IPs can be allocated to a EC2 account. Okay, but you can also increase it. So I hope you get an idea. So when you start and stop EC2 instance, IP address changes that I have told you. If you need to have a fixed IP for your instance, you need an elastic IP. Okay. Okay. So an elastic IP is public IP that you own it as long as you delete it. We can only attach it to one instance at a time. Okay, so only one instance can be allocated to one elastic IP. Okay, I hope you get an idea. So now we need to see that how we can look these whole thing into practical application. So let's begin to our lab. So let us suppose I'm having this EC2 instance, okay, in front of me. I'm having this EC2 instance. So in this you can see the IP address has been allocated, but that is when you have you can say whenever you start an EC2 instance. So this is your IP 18.209.180.168.9. Okay, so note it down and let me just stop this EC2 instance. Okay, so I have put a request to stop it. Okay, let's wait for while it is getting stopped. So now you see the status is stopped and you can see that there is no IP because that IP that has been deallocated and returned to pool of IPs. Okay, now let's start this EC2 instance. Okay, and it is pending. Let's make it running. Okay, wait for it for running. So now you can see it is in the running state and there is a different IP allocated to this EC2 instance. Okay, okay, I just refreshed it and you can see this is the new IP address that has been allocated. Now this is a problem and you can see the private IP still remains the same. Okay, but this is the problem that we have. Okay, now what I need to do, I want this IP address to be fixed. So here in the right section you can see the network and security. Just go to this elastic IPs. Just click on this elastic IP and click on this allocate IP addresses and select as it is whatever the region is allocate. Okay, so this is the IP that has been allocated to you from a pool. Okay, now I want to attach this IP address to my EC2 instance. So for that you just need to select this thing, this IP, and you can see allocate elastic IP address. Just click on this and you can assign this elastic IP to both network interface and instance. Okay, just click on the associate. Okay, okay, you need to select also select the EC2 instance that is running. So this is my EC2 instance that is running. Okay, you can see the test. Let me just see the test name. Okay, bracket, you can see. Just click on this allocate and voila, what happens now, you can see that this IP address has been allocated. So now let's test, like, is it really it happens when you stop and start, is it the same? So let's stop this thing. Okay, and wait for this, wait for it to get stopped. Okay, you can see the status is stopped and the still IP address is still the same. Okay, and you have seen that na, when we stop, the status is stopped, there is no IP address located, but here it is because it is the elastic IP. Okay, now let's start this thing, and you can see within a few, you know, time it is up and running. Okay, let's see. Yeah, it is the same. Okay, you can see this. You can wait until it is running, but this is the only IP address that has been allocated. So this is great, guys. So you learned like what is elastic IP, what is public and private IP. I hope you get an idea of this. We'll see you in the next video. Till then, happy learning.